What's up, guys? Jesse from Dead Center Coaching here. We are currently 2 weeks and 2 days out from competing at the Canadian National Pro Qualifier, as you guys probably see from my face. Now, today I wanted to come to you with a topic, and this is something that I had struggled with a lot when I was starting off in my fitness journey. And I know I'm not the only one, and some of you watching this video are probably struggling with the exact same thing. I did everything right and still couldn't lose fat until I did this one shift. Are you someone who's doing 45 minutes of cardio every single day and clean eating and discipline just didn't work for you, or so you thought it didn't? Now, this is my old reality. I used to do 45 minutes of cardio 6 to 7 times a week. I used to do an hour of martial arts. I used to eat what I thought was clean: chicken, rice. I never drank. I rarely ate out. I rarely ate junk food. I'd have the occasional ice cream here and there. But yet I was still soft. I was still skinny fat. And I know I'm not the only one who's experienced this. Why is that? I thought that I was doing everything correctly. I was eating chicken and rice 2 to 3 times a day, yet I was not seeing the progress. The lie I believed growing up is that I just had to work harder and eat cleaner. So I tightened up my diet even more intensive cardio. So instead of burning the 400 calories on the treadmill for the 45 minutes, I try to push it for 500, 550 calories. I'd reduce even some of the sauces and things that I would put on my food to really make it even more clean and make it even better. But yet the progress was still not where I wanted. Finally, the shocking realization. I finally started to track my calories, meaning I was weighing out my foods. I was calculating how many grams of protein, carbs, fats I was consuming. And the harsh realization and truth that I realized, I was severely under eating for someone who was performing at the level that I was. My metabolism was shot. My body was in complete starvation mode, and I wasn't giving my body the fuel it needed to function in and build the muscle tissue that I was so desperately trying to build in the gym. I was also overtraining on top of doing martial arts 4 times a week, weight training 5 to 6 times a week, and doing cardio every single day. My stress hormones were through the roof. Not to mention, I was also in university and I was working 2 jobs. I was constantly in fight or flight because I was always on the go. There was always something I had to do. My adrenal glands were fried. What did I do to fix this? I made sure I had enough protein in my diet. Now, a rough rule of thumb for most of the people out there who are starting off on their fitness journey, who might not necessarily know where to start. A good start point is from 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And you would just adjust this accordingly. So obviously, as you add more weight, your protein needs would increase. As you build muscle mass, your protein needs would increase. So you will increase this as a result of your progress following this. My training shift, I transitioned from doing more cardio to more strength based. So instead of doing the 15 minutes warm up cardio, the 40 minutes training, and then the hour of cardio post workout, I would start with my training. So I went in there fresh. I had all my energy. I would put my maximum effort into lifting the weights, building the muscle, and then I would end with my cardio, which I also reduced. I went from doing 45 minutes to an hour to 20 minutes on a high incline on a brisk walk. I slowly added calories back into my diet, also known as a reverse diet. So every so often, I would say between every week or two, I would add strategically calories back into my diet, starting with adding calories pre-workout, then adding calories post-workout, and then gradually expanding the scope of where I would add the calories back in throughout my day. However, I would always make sure to prioritize it around where my body needed it the most, which was pre-workout for fuel for the workout and post-workout for recovery. My framework for success has always been or has been the following since I found out the hard way what worked for me. This is the framework that I now use for my clients. Proper macro calculations. So finding out how much you need in your day to work towards your goals, whether that's muscle building or weight loss. We distribute the macros in a manner that makes sense, that fits your lifestyle, and that will aid you in getting closer to your goals without leaving you underfueled or making you feel lack of energy. The reverse dieting methodology: gradually increase your calories while maintaining or increasing your activity level proportionate to the amount of food that we add back in. That way, we can ensure that we are feeding you appropriately to fuel the level of activity that you are doing. If you are an individual who is doing vigorous activity throughout the week, your caloric needs are going to be higher than the person who is doing moderate activity during the week. And we would just adjust that accordingly. Training smarter. I focus on progressive overload as opposed to training for whatever. I don't even know what I used to do back then. I would just try to throw as much weight around, get as many sets and reps in as I can within the time frame that I gave myself, that 35-40 minutes to train, before I would go and kill myself on cardio. So now I have a strategic game plan of how I do my weight training sessions to make sure that every session is intentional, every session is focused on growth, and every session is focused on progressing in the right way. Recovery and sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things. This is when your body is going to build and recover. Without proper sleep, you can throw almost everything you're doing in the garbage. And last but most certainly not least, this needs to be something you can adhere to. Chicken and rice is not the best option for everybody. Some people have no issues eating the same thing 3 times a day. Others, they can't do it. Therefore, you need to make sure that the programs you create for yourself are easy to adhere to. You want to give yourself a variety of food that you love, that you enjoy eating, that you can have on a day-to-day basis, or options that you can swap between. So that way you're not always eating the same foods. However, you do maintain the same caloric allowance at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month. Now, if you guys find yourself in a situation where you are stuck, spinning your wheels, not moving, and you need help, leave a comment in the comment section below. Apply for my one-on-one coaching. Send me a DM on Instagram. Anywhere you guys want to have a conversation with me, I'm there. I will help you with figuring out your macros for your goals, whether it's weight loss or muscle building. I will help you guys with whatever needs you have. So with that being said, apply for one-on-one coaching. Apply for my school community if you guys want something that's more of a group approach that might be a little bit more financially friendly for the majority of you. It's a great community. It's not finished yet. However, it will be soon. We're going to host a lot of good group courses in there. I can have a lot of value, and I hope to see you guys soon.